Hello and welcome to another live episode of the Alex Nitzberg Show. I'm Alex Nitzberg and today I've got a pretty packed show for you. I'm going to be talking about Trump, DeSantis, Joe Manchin, and a little bit more. So don't forget, if you're enjoying these shows, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And also follow me on X, the platform previously known as Twitter, or wherever. Just make sure you follow me somewhere so that if for some reason I'm ever not on YouTube, you can find me somewhere else. So thank you for watching this show. Let me switch over here to this. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to talk about DeSantis Trump quite a bit here. You can see how many tabs I have up on this screen. There's a lot to talk about today. So first of all, you might have seen that I put out this video of Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds endorsing Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for president. If you haven't seen that already, you can go check it out. I clipped out some of her remarks there. But yeah, so obviously Donald Trump is not happy about this. He put out on Truth Social and said, if and when Kim Reynolds of Iowa endorses Ron DeSanctimonious, who is absolutely dying in the polls, both in Iowa and nationwide, it will be the end of her political career in that MAGA will never support her again, just as MAGA will never support DeSanctimonious again. Two extremely disloyal people getting together is, however, a beautiful thing to watch. They can now remain loyal to each other because nobody else wants them. And then he put out also this truth here that said, why would anybody endorse Ron DeSanctimonious, who is like a wounded bird falling from the sky? His poll numbers are terrible. He is totally against ethanol and fought to destroy Social Security and Medicare. Well, the nation's most unpopular governor, Kim Reynolds of Iowa, just endorsed him. What's that all about? Now, here's a clip where DeSantis and Reynolds were being interviewed, and Reynolds basically said, the reason she endorsed him is she thinks that he's the best candidate, not that, has anything to do with it. I mean, yeah. If it was just based on polls, then you would endorse Trump because Trump's creaming everybody in the polls. But that's not how you should choose someone to endorse. You should choose someone to endorse because you think you like them, you think they're the best person for the job.
For those who criticize you and say, why are you endorsing a guy who's been slipping in the polls? Trump is 30 points ahead. What do you say to those critics?
I don't base my decision on polls. I take a look at who I believe is the right person for the right job. I believe that Ron is the right person for the right job, and I believe he's going to win.
Do you?
All right. And over here, you have, let me play you this clip of DeSantis talking here about Trump.
As somebody who's a leader, you should want people who are delivering big victories for their constituents, standing up for conservative values, which Kim has done. And it's almost like with Donald Trump, if you don't kiss the ring, you could be the best governor ever and he'll trash you. You could be a terrible, corrupt politician, but if you kiss his ring, then all of a sudden he'll praise you. As somebody who's a
All right, and I mean, yeah, you'll see, Trump, one day he'll praise someone, he'll endorse them or whatever, but then later he hates their guts, they're horrible, they're they're awful. So let me go on to this here, which is actually related, sort of. In Kentucky, they had their gubernatorial contest, and their Attorney General, Daniel Cameron here, that's who this is on the screen here, he was running, he's a Republican, he was running against the incumbent Democrat governor, Andy Beshear. Unfortunately, Andy Beshear won re-election. But, oh yeah, I was going to show you this. On the bio here for Daniel Cameron, it says that as legal counsel to Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Cameron participated in the successful confirmation of conservative federal judges, including Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch. Now, over here on Truth Social, after Cameron lost, and now Trump had been backing Daniel Cameron, supporting him during the election, and Trump said Daniel Cameron lost because he couldn't alleviate the stench of Mitch McConnell. I told him early that's a big burden to overcome. McConnell and Romney are kryptonite for Republican candidates. I moved him up 25 points, but the McConnell relationship was too much to bear. So he's saying that. And then also I just wanted to note that just days earlier, before the election had taken place, before Cameron lost to Andy Beshear, Trump had been on Truth Social saying, wow, Daniel Cameron of Kentucky has made a huge surge. Now that they see my strong endorsement and the fact that he's not really a McConnell guy, they're saying now that they see my endorsement and the fact he's not really a McConnell guy. And then he said, they only try to label him that because he comes from the great state of Kentucky. Anyway, go Daniel, great future for you and your state. You will bring it to new levels of success and I will help you. Now, let me just point out to you that Trump has previously endorsed both Mitch McConnell and Mitt Romney. He's talking about how they're kryptonite for, whatever he said over there, they're kryptonite for Republican candidates. But here is a tweet, June 2020, of Trump saying Senator Mitch McConnell always delivers for the people of Kentucky, who will hopefully reelect their powerful Senate Majority Leader. Mitch has helped us make America great again and has my complete and total endorsement. Here's a tweet from February 2018, where Trump said, Mitt Romney has announced he is running for Senate from the wonderful state of Utah. He will make a great senator and worthy successor to Orrin Hatch and has my full support and endorsement. Okay, so, Trump's attacking these people, but he has endorsed them in the past. Of course, here he is, praising Ron DeSantis, saying Congressman Ron DeSantis, a top student at Yale and Harvard Law School, is running for governor of the great state of Florida. Ron is strong on borders, tough on crime, and big on cutting taxes, loves our military and our vets. He will be a great governor, has my full endorsement. Of course, now Trump has turned on all three of these people. I think he's had a rocky relationship probably with Romney and, whatever, but anyway, even before the endorsement, I think maybe. But anyway, the point is, Trump flip-flops on this stuff. One day someone's awesome, he's endorsing them. The next day he says they're awful. Now, of course, it's not just Trump, just to be fair here. I mean, Trump and DeSantis had a good relationship, and now they're running against each other and, they're hitting each other and stuff. Here's a funny, you might remember this funny ad of DeSantis touting his Trump endorsement. I'll just show you. It's like a funny ad with his kids.
Everyone knows my husband, Ron DeSantis, is endorsed by President Trump, but he's also an amazing dad. Ron loves playing with the kids.
Build the wall.
He reads stories.
Then Mr. Trump said, "You're fired." I love that part.
He's teaching Madison to talk.
Make America great again.
People say Ron's all Trump, but he is so much more.
Big league. So good.
I just thought you should know.
Ron DeSantis.
So yeah, I just thought I'd show you that too, just to be fair, But so that is something I think people should keep in mind. It's just that, Trump can be hitting somebody, but he endorsed them a few years ago. So, yeah. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the Republican presidential primary debate that we had this week. It was the third one. Of course, Trump did not show up for it. He hasn't shown up for any of the first three so far. I would like him to show up, but if I was a political consultant, advising him on how to win, I would probably say, why bother? Because you're creaming everybody and you're just going to, expose yourself to being attacked by everybody on the stage. So what's the point? So I understand politically why he would not show up. On the other hand, it's like, well, you're running for president. It would be nice for voters to be able to see you debate. But on the other hand, you could also argue that everybody knows who he is and what he's about, basically. So what's the point? But I do think if he was on the stage, it would probably make him look bad to the extent that you would be able to juxtapose what he's saying to what Ron DeSantis is saying. And, DeSantis would probably look better. So, but at least, just policy-wise. So anyway, and it maybe even, who knows, maybe someone like Vivek Ramaswamy might even outshine him, just with his vivaciousness and maybe even on some policy issues. Who knows? But, I mean, most of the candidates like Christie and Nikki Haley and, Tim Scott are probably not going to beat Trump at a debate or anything like that. And, for entertainment value, DeSantis is not going to beat Trump at a debate either, probably. But on policy, he might be able to win there. But anyway, so yeah, let me show you this clip of DeSantis talking about Trump at the debate.
He owes it to you to be on this stage and explain why he should get another chance. He should explain why he didn't have Mexico pay for the border wall. He should explain why he racked up so much debt. He should explain why he didn't drain the swamp. And he said Republicans were going to get tired of winning. Well, we saw last night, I'm sick of Republicans losing. In Florida, I showed how it's done.
I'm going to stop it there. So yeah, you can see there DeSantis hitting Trump at the debate. And here is a pretty viral moment where Nikki Haley referred to Vivek Ramaswamy as scum. So let me show you that if you haven't. If you've been watching the news at all, you've probably seen this clip. But if you haven't, let me show it to you here.
Well, I want to laugh at why Nikki Haley didn't answer your question, which is about looking at families in the eye. In the last debate, she made fun of me for actually joining TikTok while her own daughter was actually using the app for a long time. So you might want to take care of your family first.
Leave my daughter out of your voice.
Your adult daughter. The next generation of Americans are using it. And that's actually the point. You have her supporters propping her up. That's fine. Here's the truth.
You're just
the easy answer is... Well, I want to...
Okay, so check this out. Vivek Ramaswamy's campaign has masterfully turned that moment around as a way. They basically figured out a way to capitalize on that by selling campaign merch. Check this out. They're selling this Rebel Scum campaign merch. It's got like 2 design options. You can see here one that says Rebel Scum since 1776. And then there's this other one here where you can see it looks like Vivek basically in some kind of a Star Wars-like flight suit. Because I think that they're using the Rebel Scum thing. I think it's kind of a play on Star Wars. In fact, let me show you over here.
You Rebel Scum.
So yeah, I mean, that whoever came up with that idea to sell merch based off of that seems like a pretty smart way to capitalize on that moment. It's kind of funny. Also, this happened during the debate. I want to mention this. Let me show you this clip.
And what I'll tell you is, as much as I'm pro-life, I don't judge anyone for being pro-choice, and I don't want them to judge me for being pro-life. So when we're looking at this...
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Replace what she's talking about. So she's talking about abortion. I don't even love the terms pro-life and pro-choice. I would prefer pro-abortion and anti-abortion as the terms, but most people say pro-life and pro-choice. It seems like it made more sense if one was pro and one was anti, and also we're talking about abortion, so why not just say pro-abortion and anti-abortion? Anyway, but so if you're talking about something else, say you're talking about slavery, would you ever say something that ridiculous like, I'm anti-slavery, but I don't judge people that are pro-slavery or murder, because I mean, what are we talking about with abortion? We're talking about murder. So, I'm anti-murder, but I don't judge people who are pro-murder, and I don't want them to judge me for being anti. I mean, if someone is pro-abortion, then I mean, you're not God, obviously. You're not going to judge them in that sense, but judgment as far as good and evil, right and wrong, like, yes, judge them. It is wrong. You don't support murder and you don't support abortion, and in the sense that you recognize the difference between right and wrong and good and evil, you can judge that person is wrong on that issue. So I just think that's a bad comment and an example of maybe why she's not the best candidate that you would want to vote for in a primary. Now, I mean, if somehow she ended up being the Republican nominee and my only choices are her and Biden, then yeah, I guess I'm going to go for her. But it's a primary and there's other options, and I don't think she's the best option. So, and I just don't like that comment. You can let me know what you think about that comment. If you're pro-life / anti-abortion, what do you think about that comment? Does it bother you? And or does it not bother you? Let me know what you think. But so that was that debate. And the 4th debate's coming up on December 6th. It's going to be in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And the moderators are going to actually be Megyn Kelly, Eliana Johnson from the Washington Free Beacon, and Elizabeth Vargas, who's got a show on News Nation. I think this is probably a step in the right direction. I've talked about the debates and who's moderating them and kind of complained about that on here before. Saying that I think that the Republican National Committee should be choosing like conservative outlets like The Blaze, who, I do write for, or like the Daily Wire, or even like Newsmax or whatever, like, cause, I think they could pick more conservative moderators and more conservative outlets to partner up with. And so here they have, I think, obviously the Washington Free Beacon is like a right-leaning website, conservative type website. And Megyn Kelly, I don't know that she would call herself right-leaning. I think she's somewhat right-leaning. So anyway, I just think this is probably good. I think this would probably be a pretty good group of people to do. I don't know so much about Elizabeth Vargas. Like, I don't think she's right-leaning. I think she probably considers herself a journalist. I think Megyn Kelly probably considers herself a journalist, but Megyn Kelly does give opinion and stuff on her show. But anyway, so that's going to be coming up. It's kind of a lot of debates, considering that the guy who's crushing everyone is not showing up for any of them, meaning Trump. But so there's going to be another debate in December. And just FYI, while I mentioned the Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds endorsing DeSantis, we also have the Arkansas Governor, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who endorsed Trump. Now, of course, she used to work for Trump. When Trump was in the White House, she, for a period of his White House tenure, served as his White House press secretary. So, of course, not surprising that she would endorse him. But yeah, she did endorse Trump. Let me play you a clip of that here.
That is why tonight I am so proud to endorse my former boss, my friend, and everybody's favorite president, Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, so there's that. And then let me just, show you the polls over here. Like I mentioned, Trump is crushing everybody when you look at polls. Even, and this is sad. I mean, for me, as someone who is planning to vote for DeSantis in the primary, but of course who's willing to vote for Trump in the general if he ends up being the nominee, that's where I'm at. But if you look at this poll here, 2024 Florida Republican presidential primary, and it says poll University of North Florida, Trump plus 39. Okay, so if DeSantis ends up, well, okay, he'll probably drop out. If it looks like DeSantis is going to like get trounced in Florida, and assuming he's not doing well in the other states, my assumption would be that he would drop out before he gets here. But dude, like if DeSantis can't pull out a win or come close in Florida, you know, his own state, of course it is Trump's state too, Trump lives here, but that's just not good for DeSantis. It does not look good for DeSantis at all. But yeah, I mean, look at all these, Trump plus 47, Trump plus 41. Some of these I think are not state specific, but some of them are. And it's just Trump, 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 and then, you know, up more or less. I mean, in a bad poll, he's only up plus 20, but that's a huge lead. I mean, so that's where things are right now. So, you know, no matter who you're supporting, it looks like Trump is going to be the guy. I don't think he necessarily I would say DeSantis would be a better choice in a primary. I'm not saying, you know, if it's Biden and Trump that you don't vote for Trump. Like obviously I'll vote for Trump if it's Biden and Trump. But we're not in a general election right now. We're in a Republican primary, which means you try to pick the most, if you're conservative, you pick the most conservative person, the person you think is going to be the most effective at promoting conservative policies in office. And, you know, if you look at Trump and DeSantis, I think you can make a very strong argument. In fact, I think it's clear that DeSantis would probably be better. You know, Trump did good things when he was in office. I think you could say I'm 31 years old, coming up on 32, so I wasn't alive when Reagan was in office. But I think you could say Trump was maybe the best Republican president of my lifetime. But he also presided over a massive increase in the national debt, you know, the whole COVID stuff. So, and, you know, a lot of Republicans, conservatives are not really happy with, even now, like people would like him to strongly come out against the vaccines and say like, hey, turned out those were not good. There's a problem there. And, you know, he's not really coming out and doing that. So it's like, there's, you know, issues with Trump. Anyway, so yeah. You can let me know what you think, whether you're planning on voting for Trump, DeSantis, somebody else in the primary. If you are voting for Trump and you think I'm wrong about DeSantis, you know, what specifically is the reasoning there? Is it, you know, just that you know, let me know what you think. But anyway, so Manchin, Joe Manchin, this Democrat senator from West Virginia, is not going to seek re-election. Asterisk, it kind of sounds like maybe he might run for president. I mean, he didn't say that or anything, but there's speculation about it. You know, is he going to run for president? I don't know. I mean, if I had to guess, I don't even really want to guess because I don't really want to be wrong, even if I pick one or the other. But if he did run, I would say, you know, if he ran as a Democrat in the Democrat primary, obviously he would probably lose. If he runs as like an independent candidate, of course he'll lose because an independent candidate is not going to win. Is he going to run? I don't know. I mean, it seems like it'd be a futile attempt if he does, but let me show you this clip of him here.
I've made one of the toughest decisions of my life and decided that I will not be running for re-election to the United States Senate. But what I will be doing is traveling the country and speaking out to see if there is an interest in creating a movement to mobilize the middle and bring Americans together.
Yeah, so what does that mean? I mean, is it just a generic thing where he's going to do that, or is that like, is he going to do that and then announce he's running for president because he decided that there is a movement? Now, let me talk about this a little bit here. In fact, I saw Pastor Randy White had left me a comment back there and said, "Keep up the good work, Alex." So thank you, Dr. White, for that. I interned for Dr. White years and years ago, and for a few months I was an intern with him. And I believe something that he has said before is, you know, when he's talking about Christian denominations, is that he doesn't, you know, support ecumenicalism and that kind of stuff, and he thinks it's good to have different denominations. And I agree with him on this because you know what people stand for and stuff like that. You know, I would say in politics, the idea of coming together, like, I don't really support that in the sense that you should have hardline positions that you support on stuff, and you should stand firm on those hardline positions. If you're a conservative, obviously I think you should be a conservative, and I think you should stand firm on those. But, you know, even if you're not, whatever, okay, I don't like this kind of like wishy-washy, like, see what the polls say, see what people are supporting. No, you have principles. You go into office telling people, running on a platform, I'm going to promote these principles, and it doesn't matter what the polls say or what people want you to do when you get in there. Even if the public sentiment changes, you stand firm on the principles that you're for. If you can come together with other people, for instance, in a weird way, sometimes conservatives and progressives actually find things they can agree on. Maybe they both agree that we should stop funneling money into foreign aid. Maybe they both agree we should not be giving money to, whatever, Ukraine or Israel. There are times, or that we should stop having forever wars or something. There are times where you can find common ground with people on the other side. But most of the time you can't, and the only time you should work with the other side is when you can find that common ground, which is a lot of the time not possible. So, Democrats want to spend tons of money. Republicans, or I should say conservatives, do not want to spend tons of money. They want to cut the government. The progressives want to expand the government. So, I would say, it's not necessarily good to be trying to find a kumbaya, come together in the middle. The middle is not where you want to be. You want to be on the hard right if you're a conservative, right? You want to govern in the conservative fashion. You don't want to meet in the middle. You don't want to compromise. Obviously, there are times where compromise is better than nothing. As they say, half a loaf's better than zero of the loaf. Instead, if you can't get the whole loaf, whatever, half is better than. But your goal should always be the whole loaf, right? The 100% pedal to the metal conservatism. And I just don't love the idea of coming together in the middle. I'm not saying there's never a time to do it. I'm just not a big fan of this come together in the middle stuff. Anyway, also, let me show you this clip here.
We need to take back America and not let this divisive hatred further pull us apart. Public service has and continues to drive me every day. That is the vow that I made to my father over 40 years ago, and I intend to keep that vow until my dying day.
So yeah, is he going to run for president? Is he not? We'll see what happens. Stay tuned. We'll see what happens. But yeah, when it comes to politics, when it comes to Christianity, I think it's good to not be ecumenical in either, to the extent that you have your principles, you stand for what you believe is the truth, and you go with that. In politics, obviously, you can't compromise, whereas in Christianity, yeah, you don't want to compromise in Christianity. But anyway, so there's that stuff. All right. Okay, different topic here. The Environmental Protection Agency, which you can let me know in the comments below. Do you even think that should exist? Obviously, everybody, including conservatives, want a nice environment, but do we really need the federal government involved in that? I don't know. I think that's possible. We could just abolish that and things would be pretty much, fine. I'm sure there's some people who think, oh my gosh, if we abolish that, horrible things are going to happen in the environment, but I would question that assumption. I don't know for sure if there's anything it's doing that's good. Maybe there's something it's doing that's good, but maybe we could let the states do that instead. But anyway, that was a sidebar. But the EPA is running this competition offering prizes as high as $3,000 for people to basically submit videos talking about their positive experiences with electric vehicles. And there's an article I wrote at The Blaze this week, but you can go down here and see. In fact, forget this article. I'll just go over to the main source here. This is an EPA webpage. And they tell you they got 3 categories. One for electric 2- and 3-wheel personal mobility devices such as e-bikes, e-trikes, e-scooters, and e-cargo bikes, electric vehicles such as cars, trucks, and SUVs, and electric buses. And so they have 3 different categories, and you can submit a video to one of those categories, and basically in your video, it's like a 1 to 2 minute video, you talk about how great your experience is using whatever category of electric vehicle you're talking about. And the prizes include first prize $3,000, second prize $1,000, third prize $500 in each of those categories. So there's going to be, you can win different levels of prizes in the different categories. So, okay, I mentioned electric vehicles on the show before. I like them. I actually would like to have a Tesla. They're really cool. They're really fast. I like electric vehicles. However, I do not like subsidies for electric vehicles, or any kind of subsidies for that matter. I'm not a subsidy guy. But, I don't want the government, whether it's subsidizing the production or whatever, or the tax credits they give out for EVs. If the free market wants EVs, then people will buy them and somebody will produce them. I'm not a fan of the government sticking its thumb on the scales on this issue. And this is ridiculous. They're literally offering people money to produce propaganda basically for electric vehicles. They even say in here, they literally say they only want positive experiences. It says, help us showcase the benefits of electric transportation. Send us your short 1 to 2 minute personal videos that convey your positive experiences. So they don't want people to write in and say, oh, after my electric vehicle was waterlogged during a hurricane, it lit on fire and it took a long time for the firefighters to put it out. Whatever, the kind of problems that there are with electric vehicles, they don't want those showcased. They only want to hear about the positive aspects of it, because of the whole climate alarmism thing that they're promoting and stuff. So this is obviously stupid. Yeah, I mean, the government, assuming that this prize money is coming from the EPA, from the government, this is not something that you want your tax dollars going toward. And as a conservative, like when I was talking about being conservative, one of the things about conservatism is you want the government to be small for, more than one reason. You want it to be small because you don't want it telling you what to do all the time, okay? There's that. But you also want it to be small because you don't want it spending tons of money and therefore needing to suck tons of money out of your paycheck, take your money, or inflate the currency, which also indirectly takes your money by taking away the purchasing power of the money that you already have. Anyway, so we don't want the government spending thousands of dollars giving away money to basically produce propaganda videos about how great electric vehicles are. And this is just kind of a funny thing to end on here. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, here we have him getting another COVID-19 booster shot and advertising that and telling everybody else they should get their shots. He said, got my COVID-19 booster and flu shot this morning. You should get yours too. And you can see him there wearing this shirt that says, vaccines cause adults. I'm assuming that that's like a play on maybe vaccines cause, like people saying that it causes like problems, like, it causes whatever, myocarditis, autism, whatever people say vaccines cause. I'm assuming it's like a play on that or something, but it's just, dude, let me show you why this is particularly ironic. Here's a tweet of Justin Trudeau in January 2022, January 31st, it says, saying, this morning I tested positive for COVID-19. I'm feeling fine, and I'll continue to work remotely this week while following public health guidelines. Everyone, please get vaccinated and boosted. Don't you love it when people come out to announce that they tested positive for COVID-19 and then they immediately follow that up by telling you that you should get vaccinated and boosted? Or, as in I think you'll see in this next tweet, they tell you why it's a good thing that they got vaccinated because, even though they just tested positive, because it's good they got vaccinated. Like, look, this is another tweet, June 2022. So this is another time. Justin Trudeau, I've tested positive for COVID-19. I'll be following public health guidelines and isolating. I feel okay, but that's because I got my shots. So if you haven't, get vaccinated. And if you can, get boosted. Let's protect our healthcare system and each other and ourselves. Yeah. So there you go. Justin Trudeau, who has at least 2 times I can see there, said that he tested positive, is telling you that you should get another shot. Yeah. I haven't gotten any of the shots. I did get COVID, and it wasn't pleasant. I was sick, but it's up to you guys what you want to do about that. I am not a fan of those vaccines and don't plan on getting them, but I will not, obviously I won't tell you what to do. You got to do what you think you should do. But I've heard, like, for instance, I listen to Daniel Horowitz, who also works at The Blaze. I like his podcast, and he talks a lot about how dangerous the vaccines are and stuff. So I would say check into it and be careful, because I've heard bad stuff about the vaccines, and I am not going to be getting one myself. So anyway, that is that. Like I said, that was a pretty full show today, a lot of stuff. If you haven't already, followed me on YouTube, subscribe to this channel, and if you haven't, and you are on X, the platform previously known as Twitter, please follow me over there. Let me run through comments here. I got some comments. Okay, so Perseverance777 said, hello, Alex, God bless you. Thank you, Perseverance777, for leaving a comment and for watching the show. Like I mentioned, Pastor Randy White, I saw you left a comment. Thank you for that, Dr. White. Perseverance777 said Randy with a thumbs up. And also, you said Reagan rocked, my commander-in-chief. I posted a lot of clips of Reagan on this channel. He said a lot of good stuff. I was born after he was president. But he seemed like he was a pretty good president. One of the things I don't love about him, based on some of the stuff I've seen him saying stuff, is kind of like, I think he was more interventionist than foreign policy. I'm kind of an isolationist, so I don't necessarily think I would have liked that stuff, but man, he said a lot of good stuff in his speeches, and also he was really funny. And Perseverance777 also said, happy Veterans Day to my fellow veterans. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there, and thank you for your service. And Perseverance777, I guess you are a veteran if you said fellow veterans, so thank you as well. You said U.S. Army veteran. Well, thank you for your service as well. And also you said no established religion. And Dan Kelly, I see a couple comments. You said, I'm sorry, but I don't like the fact that this survey or testimonial in regards to what you want to write about is only leaning toward the good side and not the bad side. If I can't get the views, not sure. Then you said both side needs fossil fuel of chemical need from drilling. Anyway, so yeah, I obviously I support drilling for oil and all that kind of stuff. I think that the market should decide whether people are going towards EVs and obviously right now I think the market's dictating fuel because the cars are more affordable. You don't have to worry about range. If EVs were affordable and there wasn't that range anxiety thing with people being afraid of running out of electricity, then more people would buy EVs. If the government has to shove them down your throat through incentives or through constant promotion and climate change fear-mongering and propaganda videos, that means that they're not winning in the world of ideas, which means that they need to either be a small segment of the market or they need to die. But the free market needs to dictate that. Some people will buy Teslas, even if they're expensive, even if they have the range stuff, because they're fast and they're kind of cool and people like them and stuff. But we don't want the government putting its thumb on a scale, like I said. So anyway, thank you everybody for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on X. Join me next Saturday at 3:30 for another live episode, and I will see you guys then. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.